Hey everybody, it's Sherman Ray, and this is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Hope you're all doing well today. A jam-packed show today, guys. Jam-packed, really do. Today we're going to talk all about the elections that were yesterday. Excuse me, because there was a lot of people out there who didn't think that certain people would win, and that they did win. Oh, you got to turn that down. Just a little. Thank you. There were people who thought that they were going to win, didn't make it. And as a result of it, there was a lot of people who their feelings were hurt. So when we come back, we're going to start in Texas, and we're going to go Texas to go to California to go all the way back to New York. And when we do, folks, you're going to be smarter than most people. Okay. So anyways, this is Sherman Ray for the Nevada Conservative Podcast. We'll be back in just a second for more on this, folks. You stick around. We'll be right back. Okay. All right, folks, we are back. This is Sherman Ray. And this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Sorry, got a little bit of something in my throat today. Maybe a little dry. Something's going on. But we're going to talk a little bit today. No, we're not holding any punches, guys. And I know some of you folks on our Facebook page are going, man, you guys normally don't do the entire show on Facebook. But we are. So if you have any questions, you have any kind of comments that you'd like to, excuse me, you would like to add, I'm going to clear my breath. Okay, I think we're a little bit better there. If anybody has any questions that they have or anything like that, please do not hesitate. Let me know what your questions are. We'd love to hear from them. And we'll answer any kind of questions that you might have today. Before we get going too much further, I encourage you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's a subscribe button over here to the side over here someplace. And hit that subscribe button. And when you do, you'll actually get to get updated every time we do the show. Also, we're on Rumble, we're on Spotify, we're on Truth Social. And if you were there, if you saw our show yesterday, guys, oh yeah. We were talking about that guy, the Mr. Nazi guy. And I'll tell you, you're going to probably see a lot more about this guy coming up. I cannot imagine why you would not see more of this guy, because it is going to be quite revealing in the coming weeks what's going on with this guy. So anyways, check us out on our podcasts on YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Or you can go on our website. Go to thenevadaconservative.com, and we're going to start posting these podcasts on our website too. Okay. So in the news today, guys, yesterday there was a big race in Texas, and let's start off with that. We're going to talk a little bit about the midterms in Texas. Ken Paxton versus John Cornyn. Massive victory for Paxton, who was the odds-on favorite, but dang, man, he just beat up Cornyn here. Paxton delivered a decisive trouncing of longtime Senator John Cornyn in Republican primary runoff. So you remember what happened during the, excuse me, the initial, what we believe was going to be, something Cornyn would probably win. Didn't happen. And they had to go to a runoff between he and Paxton. President Trump stepped in and gave his endorsement. And as a result of that, Paxton, the guy on the dark-haired guy, compared to the two guys, won. It was a reckoning, folks. It really was. Paxton is the steadfast attorney general who's battled everything from election integrity fights to protecting our borders and unborn children. Won handily, folks. Handily. 64 with around 64% of the vote. And Cornyn, well, he limped in with just 36%. And I guess here's the big question, folks, is why? Why did Ken Paxton, who was the new guy on the block, versus Cornyn, well, why did he win? Well, it's because Texas voters saw through the rhino, and the rhino, the rhino facade of Cornyn, and that's really what it was, folks. It was just the facade that we saw with Cornyn was that, you know what, he's this great old guy. He's been in D.C. for a long time, but he had become an establishment guy, and that's a problem. I mean, that became a major problem. Cornyn had spent years cozying up to the Washington establishment, compromising on border security, judicial nominations, putting career politics over principle. And that is the biggest reason why. So, this is what happens when people get to D.C. They call it Potomac fever. Yeah, Potomac fever. And when people get up there to Washington, D.C., it just happens to them. All of a sudden, they go in, they get a committee assignment, and the Speaker of the House comes up to him. And I'm not saying that it happened in this case to Cornyn, but he got a committee assignment, and they said, hey, if you want to stay here, time to just stay here. Yeah, you're going to have to make some compromising your principles. And even though there's a lot of guys who come into office and they say, hey, I'm going to do some great things, and not even within years, within weeks of them being there, all of a sudden they just change. And that's what happened with Cornyn. He just became, an empty suit, and people knew it. So no more go along to get along. Republicans who talk tough during the election season, but from what we found out, the lobbyists started calling up Cornyn, and that was it for him. Paxton represents the fighting spirit of Texas. He's pro-life, he's pro Second Amendment, pro-family, and he's unapologetically Trump, and that's what Cornyn wasn't. He was not unapologetically Trump, and that's a problem, folks, especially when you're going to be looking for help from the president. Okay, this win sends a thunderous message across the heartland. Conservatives are done with rhinos. We're done with them. We're done with them diluting our movement, and we're done with them not going up there and doing what they say they're going to do. And that's the thing about President Trump, is he does exactly what he says he's going to do. And he is promises. Here's the mantra: promises made, promises kept. Okay, so we're taking back our party, and with it, restoring the constitutional governance. So God bless Texas, folks. God bless Texas, man. I know they've got a lot of people who come up there and they said they're going to do all kinds of things, and they're going to, make the seas rise and everything else. But if they're not Republicans, they're going to be sorely surprised. So when we get back, folks, we're going to talk about who Paxton is going to go up against. Oh yeah, you guys are going to love this. This guy, his name is James Talarico, and James Talarico's he's different. Anyways, when we come back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit more about the general election in Texas, and with Paxton versus Talarico on the TNC podcast. Stick around. Alrighty, folks, we are back with Sherman Ray, and this is the TNC podcast. And I know a lot of folks and I've had a few people write to me about this already. So I'm listening to my audience now. Some people are going, Sherman, hey, what do you do when you put that, and they put that thing up there, and we can't see what you're doing, and you want to see what I'm doing. Well, most of the time I just get a drink of water, guys. It's really pretty much all I do. Just get a drink of water and try to wet my whistle just a little bit, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And but I know some people are saying, well, we just want to see what you're doing. And so what I will do to make some people feel better, because I know some people really want to see what I'm doing, is I'll change. Okay, I will change, and I won't cut to the screen when we do our thing. We were talking in our last segment about the election in Texas between Cornyn and Paxton, and now that Paxton has won, he comes up against the new guy, and this guy's name is James Tallarico. And so James Tallarico beat Jasmine Crockett. And if we can say one thing about James Tallarico, thank you. Okay, thank you for beating that girl, because she was just nasty as it was. Okay, but now you got a whole different set of issues. Okay, you have James Tallarico, and before we get going, doesn't he look like Alfred E. Newman? I mean, some people said this before. Put that picture of Alfred E. Newman up there. Okay, yeah, there you go. So go ahead and put that up there really quick. Doesn't he look like Alfred E. Newman? Yeah. So here, look at it again. So doesn't he look just like Alfred E. Newman? I mean, yeah, I think it's kind of sad, isn't it? I don't know. I think I'd want to try and change my look. Just change my look a little bit. James Tallarico. So who is this? We did a story on James Tallarico a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever it was. And this guy is he's the worst. He really is. So he's a former teacher, seminarian, turned progressive firebrand. Okay, now I want to stop here for just a second, because when people hear that, oh, he's a seminarian, they go, oh, the guy's got those Christian principles and everything else. No, he's from the United Presbyterian Church, which is a very liberal, heretical church denomination, and which most mainstream Christians would go, no, these guys are not cool at all. And so James Tallarico is not what you call a regular guy. He is actually this is why this guy's got issues. I mean, he really does. And so when you see this guy, you go, okay, well, that's why some of the things that he's talking about are just so weird. Some of the policies. So he's a former teacher, seminarian, progressive firebrand. He pushes the full woke agenda. Okay, full woke. He's full on woke agenda. Expansive government control, identity politics, policies that undermine traditional values. This guy, it's one of the things this guy said is that Jesus, or that God was non-binary. He also he began to clarify his position on how many sexes there are. One time he said there were 6 sexes out there. Now he said, well, there's 2, and now there's, but some people identify as, some other things there, so we've got some issues there. And he says, well, you know what, and as far as his policies on the border go, he basically said, hey guys, it should be like your back porch at your house. Doors should be wide open. Everybody should just come on in. Well, I don't know about you, and I don't know about me, but my back porch is not wide open, so everybody can come in. I've got a gate and a fence on my back porch, so that my neighbors can't come in. They come through the front door. They come the right way, and that's how my neighbors get into my house. So I don't know where he's coming up with this whole thing. He's clashed with conservative efforts to protect parental rights and education, securing the border, as we just said, and defend life. Here's the interesting thing about it. how can a seminarian, okay, this is James Tallarico we're talking about here, how can a seminarian be pro-choice? I don't know I can do it. There's no way. How can anybody who's studied Scripture even a little bit come out of that saying, oh, God's good with me killing a baby? Okay? As a matter of fact, all you got to do is read the first, couple of books of the Bible, and you can find out that was a way that the people of the land, that God told his people, don't do that. Okay? I don't have to go through the whole seminary thing. I mean, I'm a pastor guy, so I know this stuff. Okay? So how can a pastor, and not just James Tallarico, but anybody, try to square that with what the Bible says? How can anybody who says that they believe in God square the fact that God says don't kill babies, and you stand with people who do kill babies? Okay. He's not a former seminarian. I don't know what he is. Okay. In a state rooted in rugged individualism, faith, and self-reliance, Tallarico's vision of a bigger government and cultural radicalism is a non-starter. Okay, Texans know better. Okay, Texans know better. They've built a thriving economy on freedom, not handouts and division. Paxton versus Tallarico sets up a clear choice in November. Will Texas stay true to its conservative roots, or surrender to the coastal elites? Okay. They got a point. They got a choice to make. My money, my prayers, and the prayers of millions is on the Lone Star staying red and strong, guys. It's got to. There's just no way. I cannot imagine the state of Texas all of a sudden saying, you know what, this guy doesn't even. So the guy's a vegan on top of it all. I mean, my gosh, how? If Texas is anything, it's full of meat eaters, guys. There's no way that they're going to vote for a guy who's a non-meat eating yuck. Okay. Anyways, let's take a really quick break, and once again, I won't break, guys. I promise I will just stay here, and I won't even break, and I'll stick around here with you guys, and but we will take a really quick break, and when we come back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about something a little closer to home here in Vegas, because I think you're going to want to hear more about it. Okay, Sherman Ray, this is the TNC podcast. We'll be right back. Okay? Stick around. All right, folks, we're back in the Sherman Ray, and this is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the broadcast today, folks. And once again, now, so somebody let me know, was that better? Did you like it better that you got to get to see me? I normally would get up. I'd get up and run, do something really quick, but I couldn't now because people want to see what I'm doing. That's fine. I don't really care, one way or the other. Sometimes I like to drink a little bit, and have a Pepsi or whatever it is, but it is what it is. In our first segment, if you're watching this, folks, you're just jumping in, and you said, hey, what did you guys talk about before this? Well, in our first segment, we talked a little bit about the election in Texas versus Paxton versus Cornyn, and what a wipeout that was. And our second segment, we talked a little bit about James Tallarico. Okay, James Tallarico, he's a non-starter, guys. I mean, a non-starter. This segment, folks, we're going to talk we're going to go a little bit home now, folks. We're going to get a little closer home. And we're going to talk about the race between Aaron Ford and our current governor, who is named is Joe Lombardo. So Aaron Ford versus Joe Lombardo. Joe Lombardo was the sheriff, law and order guy. He's been in this. He's running for a second term now. Fine, great. He's a great guy. He really is. He's done some cool things here in the state. Is he perfect? No, I would say probably not perfect. But boy, I'll tell you, he's a sight better than the other guy. The other guy who we're going to talk. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Aaron Ford here, because Aaron Ford himself, Aaron Ford is he's the object of an ethics complaint. Yeah. So let's talk. Aaron Ford is our current Attorney General here in the state of Nevada, and he's got some issues. I mean, he really is. He's been gaining steam, and people want, and people need to know who they're voting for. Here's the problem with it. Is a lot of times we vote for people and we go, you know what? He's such a nice looking guy. He's got color, and he's got, okay, all right, whatever. Okay, has the guy done anything? Okay. As of late, Aaron Ford has been getting out there trying to say that he's doing this and he's doing that and he's going to fight for this and he's going to fight for that. Okay, all right, whatever. Okay, Aaron, really, are you really doing anything? I would say no. So I did do some background on the guy to find out what Aaron Ford had done when he was in the legislature. He was the majority leader and the minority leader when he was in the I think he was in the state senate, or was he in the assembly? One of the two. But here's the thing about it. The one thing he did push for, abortion. That was his big claim to fame. I mean, he co-sponsored some bills. Okay, he did do that. He jumped on the coattails of some other guys' stuff. But his biggest claim to fame was to codify abortion in the state of Nevada. So he likes the thought of killing babies. You know, yay, Aaron Ford, wonderful. Okay, so and in my book, I'll tell you folks, and I know a lot of people's books, that's a non-starter right there. I mean, it's a non-starter. Okay, Nevada is one of the few states in the union that has abortion in our Constitution. Okay, we have this guy to thank for that, Aaron Ford. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that. Okay, that he's the one who pushed forward that and was zealous about that. But can imagine that. My claim to fame, Mom, guess what I did? I made sure that you could kill babies in the state of Nevada. Yay. Okay, so that's Aaron Ford's biggest claim to fame. But then he's got some ethics violations, okay? And that's something that people need to know about Aaron Ford. The Nevada Commission on Ethics, and this is not a bunch of right-wing guys that are going after a bunch of left-wingers. This is a bipartisan, nonpartisan group, has advanced complaints involving, of all things for Aaron Ford, luxury trips funded by third parties worth tens of thousands of dollars, and concerns over using official channels for campaign activities. So what Aaron Ford did is he basically took his campaign funds and he funneled them to go do some cool stuff that he thought was really great. And he also spent money taking luxury trips to, I mean, this guy's got 8 ethics violations that are they're after him. They're saying, Aaron, why would you spend this money to go to, this place and that place when you're supposed to be the Attorney General of Nevada? Why do you need to go to Europe? What? That's my complaint, okay? Aaron, if you want to go to Europe, that's fine. Nobody could care less if you're going to Europe. Really, nobody cares, right? Just not on my dime. Okay, not with the taxpayers' money. And that's why he's got an ethics complaint. In a nutshell, this is what Aaron Ford has been doing, folks. He's been spending taxpayer money and campaign money to get to line his own pockets. And that's a problem. That's waste, fraud, and abuse. This is what the Trump administration right now is doing to clean up the federal bureaucracy, is clean up crap like stuff that Aaron Ford's doing. Somebody said something very interesting, that USAID is now broke. Or, excuse me, is now out of commission. There's no money going through USAID. And guess, coincidentally, who's out of money too? Yeah, the Democrat Party. It's out of money. Huh? Coincidence? You think? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. Anyways, we've got to move along here, folks. If you're going to vote, folks, and if you're going to vote, you need to really think very carefully about this, because Aaron Ford is going to be, if he's going to be your next governor, he's probably going to do things with the money that he should not be doing. This is Sherman Rain. This is the TNC podcast. Got 2 more spots here we want to talk about. We'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, folks. I am back. This is Sherman Rain. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you all once again for being a part of the show. This last segment, folks, is really kind of just... we thought these things ended, and evidently they have not. There's a guy by the name of Jackson Dart, and many of you know who this guy is. Jackson Dart, he's actually the quarterback for the... Excuse me. He's the quarterback for the... New York Giants, the football Giants. And he introduced the president recently, and this is what, I don't know. Oh no, is he the Giants or is he the Patriots? I think he's the Patriots. Oh, sorry about that. Excuse me. No, he's the Giants. Okay, I'm sorry. We're Patriots. He's the Giants. Anyways, president is going to do this event. Jackson Dart was there, and he says, "Hey guys, guess what? Here's the president." Yay! Gives him a high five, a little man bro hug, that kind of thing. And guess what happened? Oh yeah, the media went apoplectic. What he does? Why did he hug the president of the United States? I can't believe he did that. Oh, Jackson Dart, why would you ever hug that guy, the president of the United States? Okay, hold on a second, folks. Hold your horses there. Okay, what do you care? Why would you care if Jackson Dart decides that he's going to introduce the president of the United States or not? What difference is it going to make in your life that somebody acknowledges the president or doesn't acknowledge the president? And then, number 2, what gives you the right to say anything about anybody else's choice on who they associate with or they don't? Jackson Dart is an American citizen. We have freedom of association. I got freedom. I can go to any church I want. I can go to any bar I want. If I decide I don't want to do any of that, that's on me. And we thought we were over this, guys. But evidently we're not over this, because you have his teammates, at least one of his teammates, literally came out and said, he got all jacked up. I go, wait a minute. Does that mean Jackson shouldn't throw you any more passes? Huh. It's a thought. Maybe Jackson just shouldn't throw you any more. And then they cut you because you don't catch any passes because your quarterback doesn't like you. Okay. No, Jackson wouldn't do that to you. Jackson could care less who you vote for. He's there to win a game. And that's what you should think about it, okay? We need to dial this back, folks. We really need to dial this back, because we thought we were done with this, all right? We really thought we had dialed this back and that this was gone, okay? But you got those wenches, those women on The View that came out and said something about Jackson Dart too. And I'm going, wait a minute. You are all hanging out with each other. My gosh, of all people to talk about, of nasty people to hang out with, and nobody cares about you guys, I am not, put it this way, I am not losing any sleep because Sunny Hostin is hanging out with Whoopi Goldberg. I'm just not going to do it. I care less. Okay? And that's the way they should be. Folks, we've got to grow up a little bit in America. And if we don't get to that point, if we continue to let these talking heads dictate who we can and who we can't hang out with, guys, guess what? We're going to have a mess. We're just going to literally have a mess on our hands. And Jackson Dart, you can hang out with anybody you want, as long as it's, as long as it's, I wouldn't put that on you, okay? I was going to say something snarky, but I'm not going to do it anymore. Anyways, that's it, folks. We're done today. I thank you once again for being a part of the broadcast, folks. And you can get this show on all over the place. You can get it on Rumble, you can get it on True Social, X, on YouTube, on Facebook. Get it all over the place. Okay, so Instagram, all that kind of stuff too. Encourage you once again, hit the subscribe button, folks. Subscribe to our channel. That's why every time we have a broadcast, you get updated on our broadcast. And if all else fails, you can go to our website. Go to our website at thenevadaconservative.com. Okay, thenevadaconservative.com, and you can check it out there. Anyways, it's been Sherman Ray for the Nevada Conservative podcast. Thank you once again for being a part of the broadcast, folks. We will see you again tomorrow for more of the Nevada Conservative podcast. Take it easy, folks.